Welcome to Between the Baobabs, where life slows down just a little bit. So grab a glass of something good, get comfortable, and hang out with us while we dive into our first episode. I'm Anna, and this is Cheska, and we are Between the Baobabs.
So, since this is our very first episode, we wanted to use it to give a bit of context. So, who we are and what this episode is actually going to be about. So, this episode is basically the who are these two and why are they talking episode.
Exactly. Normally, this is meant to feel like a really relaxed chat between two of us. But for today, we've given ourselves a tiny bit of structure. We actually wrote down some questions to ask each other.
And this is just to get us started. Not all of our episodes are going to be this organized. We're not usually this organized.
No, we are not. So, this episode might feel a little more put together than what's coming, but hopefully it gives you a good sense of who we are and what you can expect going forward. So, wherever you are listening from, welcome to Between the Baobabs.
All right, so should we just dive in?
I guess so. All right. So, we've been friends for a while, but we've never really actually sat down and asked each other these types of questions.
Yeah, which is kind of odd if you think about it, considering how much we talk to each other.
So I think I'm just going to dive right in with our first section of today, which is who we are. So, Cheska, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
3 words.
Just three.
Just three. Okay. Well, okay, I would definitely say that I'm a caring and loyal friend. But then, and this is very random, but I'm also very slow. And by slow, I mean that jokes sometimes genuinely need to be explained to me. But then that's part of my charm, I guess. It's if you have a good sense of humor, then yeah, then that's fine. But there is more to me. So when I was thinking about how I would answer this question, I was trying to figure out if I'm a little bit of an extrovert, but I would say I'm mostly an introvert. I love animals. I like to be outdoors. I like to move my body. Um, and it's very easy to make me laugh. I also really hate change, like change in life. I just love familiarity. Um, and I'm also somebody that would do anything for my family. So, yeah, in a nutshell, I'm loyal, caring, and very slow on the uptake. Those are the little things that make me who I am. If I had to narrow it down to three
Yes,
things.
but I love all three things about you, so I think we're okay.
Ah, you're so sweet. Well, I have a question for you then, also in the
Hmm.
section of who we are to, um, yeah, help our listeners to get to know us a bit. And what I want to ask you
Mhm.
is if someone just random, and sorry, this is a very long question. If someone just randomly tagged along with you for a day, like they didn't know anything about you, what do you think they would pick up on without you explaining anything?
They'd probably think I'm a tad bit chaotic, and I might be under exaggerating that. But they would also soon come to realize that I somehow have all of that chaos under control. Like everything is moving, but I know where all the pieces are almost always. And
I get that.
yeah. They'd also realize that I laugh very loudly and I talk a lot. And um yeah, chatty is just my natural form of self, I guess. And yeah, I do
I
notice
see that.
things and I do care very deeply about a lot of stuff and but I do everything with a slightly playful sense of humor. Um More of a let's just see how this goes type of person.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very true. And that's one thing I
Mm.
appreciate about you is that even if things feel very chaotic or if I come to you and I'm panicking about something, your reaction is usually very calm and you're sort of like that meme of the girl who's smiling into the camera, and there's a house on fire behind her, and it's just like, it's okay, we can handle this. No matter how bad the situation is, everything will be fine.
You know, that gives me that same feeling of if you've ever watched Friends, Ross
Mm-hmm.
and his I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, everything's going
Uh-huh.
wrong. But yeah, slightly I don't get yeah, I don't get to the point where everything needs to burn down most of the time.
Yeah, 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 yeah. You
Yeah.
just keep going.
Just keep
Okay.
swimming. Just keep swimming. All right. So,
Yeah.
Cheska, what do you
Mm-hmm.
think people might be surprised to know about you?
Okay. I really like this question because yesterday when I was thinking, so sorry, I'm just going to backtrack quick. You know,
Mm.
when you have icebreaker sessions, when you've just started a new job or you have a new person joining the team, and you've got to tell two truths and a lie, or you've got to come up with like a really interesting fact about yourself. I hate those exercises because I can never think of anything. And then I always think, oh no, what if my fact isn't actually that interesting or surprising? But maybe people might find this fact or this little thing about me surprising because I don't think it's that like normal, or maybe it is. Um, but and this is something I've learned about myself over the past few months, but something that people are usually surprised by is that I actually enjoy cleaning and tidying up. And I know that's very random, but it's kind of like, so in German there's a term for it, and I like this term because it's the best. I feel like it describes it in the best way, but it's called Beschäftigungstherapie, which apparently, like I looked it up, and it apparently directly translates to occupational therapy, which I don't actually. I think that sounds far too serious because the meaning for occupational therapy is it says it's the use of particular activities as an aid to recuperation from physical or mental illness.
Mental illness.
And I don't think it's that deep.
All right.
But, but essentially, yeah, it's like can I say like busyness therapy? So like uh when I clean, it's like I'm organizing things in my mind as well. So um it calms me down and it helps me to organize my thoughts. So like when I have a clean space, I also have a clear mind. So when I'm at a dinner party with friends or with people, cleaning is not because I'm feeling uncomfortable and I feel like, oh my God, I need to get this place clean. It's because doing it makes me feel like I can enjoy the situation more once the space is clean. I don't know. So, anyways, that's probably something people might find quite surprising. And, you know, at dinner parties or when we've got people over or I'm staying at someone's place, um, and, you know, I'm always that friend that insists on cleaning up, and then people will try to jump in to help. But I'm just like, no, really, it's fine. I actually like this, and I'm not being polite. I genuinely mean it. So, yeah, that's the thing that I was thinking people might be a bit surprised to know about me.
I love that. And it makes so much sense. You know,
Yeah,
clear space, clear mind. Yeah. It's definitely
yeah,
you.
you get it.
Yeah. I get it. I don't live by it, but I get it.
That's fair enough. But I have another question for you for this section of getting
Hmm.
like helping our listeners to get to know us better. And
Yeah.
um, my question is, Annalise, if you had to describe where you are at in life right now, not in a deep way, but just honestly, what would you say?
Well, um, hmm. I would say it's difficult to say because we've spoken about this a few times, is being in your 20s is a bit tricky to describe because you may think that you're at the beginning of something and then at the same time you look at your age and then you're like, no, but I should be in the middle. And I'm at the beginning of so many adventures. Okay. I just finished the first year, well, not even first year, but I just finished up a year at the camp that I just finished working my first year at a camp, and I didn't do the full year, but I just started, and we're just starting Between the Baobabs, and I'm also at the beginning of this new studying path where I'm going into guiding, and it's all really at the beginning of a lot of stuff. But when I look at my age and stuff, I always think, oh, but I should be in the middle. But you know what? I think that just goes to show that age in your 20s is just kind of frozen because you could be at the beginning, you could be in the middle, and you could be right at the middle and decide, I don't actually like what I do, and then start again and again and again and again. And that's okay. I mean, you could start again at 40, and you know what? If it's what
Oh yeah,
sets
definitely.
if it's what sets your heart on fire, then I say do it. Start again until you
Yeah.
figure out exactly what it is you want, as long as it makes you happy.
Yeah. That's so refreshing to hear because yeah, you know, you're, and obviously that's something we'll get to at a later point in the podcast, but being in your 20s is such a strange stage of life. Like you can either think that you've got it all figured out and you're like you finish high school and you think that's the beginning, right? That's where you either go to study an area of what you want to make your career about, or you go and begin a job in a certain area. But then I feel like it's you can't really. Well, I'm trying to talk in terms of like how you said it, like you're at the beginning, um, and being able to start over. That I think timelines are very. How can I say? Timelines and time is just an idea, and we don't need to have anything figured out. And I think there's far too much pressure on you when you finish school and then you go to university. And that's also why this is an exciting time to record this podcast, is because we're both at the
Yeah.
beginning of things. We've both decided that we wanted a bit of a change, and you're now training to be a guide. Uh, and maybe for people who don't know what that means, it means that Annalise is going to go and become an expert on wildlife and wild flora and fauna and animals in Zambia. And Annalise, you correct me if I say any of this wrong, but yeah, she's going to be the person that takes you on a safari and explains all of the cool
One
things.
day.
And I want to become a teacher. So yes, exactly. So yeah, we are mid 20s, me a little bit later 20s, and starting. I don't want to say starting over again, but also um, yeah, uh, at the beginning of something new.
Starting the next season.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, that was such a long-winded way of explaining that,
It's okay.
but
Yeah.
there we are.
All right. And to be honest, I think New Beginnings kind of brings us into our next section quite well. And
Yes, that is
Cheska,
true.
do you remember the moment we thought we should actually do this?
So, honestly, I don't really remember it, but I do remember talking about it, and then I suddenly realized how quickly it was happening. Um, but that's something that I really love about you. It's because we were just talking about it, and you turned it from being something we just joked about to it being something that actually we could actually do this if we wanted to. And yeah, sorry, that's what I was saying. That's one of the things that I love about you, is that you take an idea and you run with it. Like you just start to figure it out, you connect the dots, and then you're like, hey, so by the way, I've done all this research. Uh, this is the platform that we can record on, and all I really had to do was order my microphone. So yeah, I can't really remember like when I thought we were actually doing this, because you kind of brought the idea from it just being an idea to something that could actually happen. Um, yeah, and here we are recording our first episode.
My tunnel vision took over, and there we went.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yep,
but I mean,
exactly. But
that
okay, now I can. Hey,
I was gonna say that also brings me to what I love about you is I'll come up with this crazy idea and be like, "Yeah, this is the follow through. And I've thought about it, and I want to do this." And you just go, "Okay, I come with. I'll do it too."
Exactly. I mean, gosh, I feel like I'd be silly not to uh, go along with the idea of recording a podcast. And we'll see how it works out.
Yeah.
And yeah. And I have, so I'll now return your question with a question
Okay.
with um, why we started Between the Baobabs. And I want to know from your perspective, what made you think that people might want to actually listen to this, to us just talking?
Well, to be completely honest with you, I think when you live in Africa, it can be, how can I put this? Misinterpreted quite often. And I think if you go onto the internet and you look for certain, like, if you want to travel to Zambia and you're like, okay, let me just go see what it might be like, I think it gets misadvertised as well. And I've had a look here and there, and I haven't really found anything that really, other than documentaries and that kind of thing, that's like, oh, this is what Africa's like. I don't know any podcasts or any platform, and I might be wrong. I haven't done extensive research, but I would like
Yeah.
a place where people feel, oh, this is actually what it's like to live there. This is the social life. This is the real heart of where I'm going. And I think it's also a beautiful place, and it is very sad that it gets misinterpreted from time to time because there's so much to it that gets left out.
Yeah, I understand that. So, kind of uh, people who have not visited Zambia, maybe it will help them get an idea of what it's like and from a more honest perspective.
Yeah.
And, you know, I get you as well because, and that's what I think will be kind of cool with this podcast is with me being in Germany, but having lived in Zambia and still considering it very much home, I can add that perspective and you're still there living and working
Yeah.
in in Luangwa National Park, like you are living with wildlife and I don't know how to say this,
Mm.
experiencing the authentic side of the bush, of the African bush.
Yeah.
So you can really, whatever you have to share and whatever stories you have to share, I think it'll just be very interesting for listeners to hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I mean, coming from your end of it, I also think there's so much value in being able to talk about what it's like to have two places in your life that are extremely important to you
Mm-hmm.
that you consider both home like, but you know what it's like to be split like that, you know?
Yeah.
And there are benefits to living in both places,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah. And there's so many people in our lives that I think live very similarly to you, where they are all coming from here and they are living out there in first world countries for work or studies or any other reason. They've fallen in love with someone from there and they've moved over.
Yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
and that's just, yeah, I think there's going to be so much connection between you and those people that is very rich and isn't talked about a lot in a lot of podcasts.
Yeah. Hopefully I can hopefully people can relate to whatever it is I'm going to say. Um
Hmm.
but yes. Should we move to the
Yes,
next bit,
I think so. Um,
which I think you kind of already touched on?
hmm. Oh, what the podcast is about.
Yes, what's the podcast going to be about? What can people expect?
Yes. Um, so Cheska, how would you explain this podcast to a friend?
So I would probably say that it's bush stories, but told in a very casual way. So just like friends catching up over a glass of wine, or coffee or tea, whatever you prefer. Um, and we majorly talk about bush stories, but we will also end up talking about normal life stuff like grief, or trying to figure life out in our 20s. And it's a podcast that's meant to feel familiar and easy to listen to, something that you can just put on while you're going about your day. There's the bush, which is a bit different, but also a lot that's relatable. Like, me living in Europe,
Yeah.
missing home, you living in Zambia, and just trying to work out where you belong, I think, as well. Um,
Yeah. And
yeah,
figuring, the next steps out. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So, I
Yeah.
mean, and then that leads me to my question to you.
Hmm.
Um, sorry, it's a bit of a strange question. Um,
We
but
love that.
yes, it's Annalise, if this podcast was a place, what would it look like and what's happening there?
That is actually, I have a perfect answer for that, I think.
Not surprised.
So in South Luangwa, we have this place called the Salt Pans, the Kalawani Salt Pans, and it is a natural little hub for us socially. And if I was to say a place, I would say it's there, where there are so many people from every corner of Mfui who are all coming around for sunnies, which is what we call sundowners, and like sunnies drinks. And there are people drinking, having fun, catching up on everything that happened that week. Who's got the craziest guest, um, who's gone through the most trauma with conservation, who is busy with starting a new business, and who's just moved here, and that type of thing. And I think those stories are what's going to come up in a lot of our podcasts, to be honest.
Yeah. And also, one thing that I'm just going to add, um, and that I'm personally very excited about, is that we'll have guest speakers eventually as well, um, like doctors who work in the valley, or uh, wildlife experts, really random people who are full of very interesting experiences and stories. So just because we're at the section of what this podcast is going to be about, I just thought that I would share that. I think it's something that our listeners can look forward to, but something that I'm also just very excited about.
Yeah. Although, to be honest, I haven't quite started asking around if there'd be people that would like to join, but I definitely have a very, very long list of names that I am going to be
Mm-hmm.
knocking on their doors and being like, "Hi, could you
Imagine them listening to the
please?"
podcast right now and they're like, oh no, they were planning on asking us. They know
Yeah,
who they are, I think, which is also very
I
funny.
think some of them should. I think some of them should
Yeah.
by now know that they will be featuring because there are some very important people in this part of the world that I'm like, you have to be on this podcast. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, um,
Okay.
Cheska, what do you hope people feel when they listen?
I hope that they feel like they're part of the conversation, and I hope that um, I mean, the thing is that we're still figuring out what the podcast is going to be like, specifically. Um, but I kind of that's where I hope that people just feel like they are a part of it, and it's very casual, so it's something that they can listen to while they're going about their day, while they're walking, driving, doing the dishes. I don't know. Um, I just hope that they enjoy it. I just hope that it's a podcast that is associated with like a happy part of their day, a casual, relaxed
Yeah,
time of day.
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at my list of questions, and I'm thinking, where are we? So we want to also talk about what we will talk about in the podcast.
Yes.
So I have a question for you.
All
Um,
right.
and that is, what is a totally normal part of your day that might confuse or shock someone who's living in, say, Europe or who has never been to Zambia?
All right. So our first world visitors.
Yeah.
Um, a standard disbelief for us would be the unpredictability, I think, in our
Mm-hmm.
day-to-day life, and just how normal it is. So if someone's late in Zambia, it's just Africa time. It's just it will happen when it happens. They'll get you when they
Mm-hmm.
get you. Um, and there's also this our power situation. We don't always have electricity.
Yes. Ah,
We're
yes.
not always connected to the world either. We don't always have a Wi-Fi connection, or we don't always have things readily available to us. It's sometimes very peaceful, very stressful if you work in tourism because guests somewhat expect that from, buying a ticket and being like, oh, I'm coming to visit. I need things done the specific way. And I understand that to a standard, but sometimes it's nice. Africa time for me, I am someone who likes a little bit of structure, but
Mm-hmm.
it teaches you to take things a bit slower. Like, why are you rushing? Where are you going? Who are you going to see? Just take a chill.
Yeah.
Relax. Life's not
Yeah.
gonna run away from you.
And
Yeah.
that's kind of that's interesting. So, because I also wanted to ask you, because I think it's just an interesting thing to share, like what living in Luangwa or Zambia in general, what's how can I say, uh, how has it impacted how you respond to things and how you deal with life situations in general? Like, do you find that you have a more relaxed approach? Do you think that's why you're so calm about chaos?
Um, Generally, yes, I do think so. Um, I think it does help. Like, I think a lot of people come here and they end up living here for a bit and they go, oh, maybe we could take this back to home with us. And I'm just
Mm-hmm.
like, yes, take Africa time with you. It'll be fun. You
Yeah.
might miss a train, but it'll be fun. You'll go on an adventure. And
I like that. Yeah.
I think you just gotta learn to put a positive spin on it. And I think Zambia definitely knows how to do that. Like a lot of people from here have that. Why bother? If life is
Yeah.
not going to go that way, why go that way? Why force it?
Yeah. Why let the
You
stress
know?
impact my health?
Exactly. So, Cheska, what is something about life over here that people, when you talk about it in Germany, kind of go, what? Just don't expect it.
um, yeah. So, when I was preparing the answer to this question, um, I think mainly what it is, it's definitely how constant the animals are. So, like, when I say constant, I mean genuinely 24/7. So if you're not worried about the elephant behind the tree, trust me, you should be worried about the snake in the leaves or the lions in the distance. I can't even tell you how often I go to the bathroom when I'm in Luangwa and it's like 3 in the morning. And there's an elephant like munching on leaves just right outside, like over the little straw, uh, like the little straw wall separating the toilet from uh, the lagoon. Yeah. Because we have an outdoor
We're gonna have
bathroom.
to share some photos on our
Yeah.
socials. So if you are not following us there, go give us a follow.
Yes. So yes, and I think because I mean it's beautiful. We have an outdoor bathroom under the stars, but still you've got to just be very very aware. Um, or we'll be sitting at dinner and you know the night guards will come and warn you about walking back to your tents because there's actually lions just outside of camp or something. And that's just something you don't get in Germany, let alone in Europe. And like, I mean, just as an example, my husband, Yoshka, uh, completely lost his mind the other day because we were on a walk and he saw a kingfisher. And it's just something you don't expect here. And don't get me wrong, like I love kingfishers too, but in the bush they're just a lot more common. So when you notice them here, it's just a bit more exciting.
Hmm. Well, that kind of brings me into another question. What's a small everyday thing that actually means a lot to you?
uh, okay, so this is now my answer is very different to the other question. Um, I'm getting a bit serious here, but it's also just an honest answer. But one
Mm.
small daily thing that actually means a lot to me is daily check-ins from my family. So we have a family group chat, and all of us are in different places. Like my stepsister is in Australia, my brother is where you are, Annalise, in Zambia, as well as my dad and my stepmom.
Mm-hmm.
And every single day, without fail, somebody's going to message in the group chat just to check in on how everyone is doing or to let everyone know that they're missed and loved. And it's something that I've gotten so used to that when no one messages or when I don't have a quick check in with my family, it actually feels a bit strange.
Oh, that's actually quite cute.
Yeah, yeah, we communicate a lot more. I mean, I don't know how often other families communicate, but I can definitely say like my husband's family, for example, they don't talk every day. Like they just communicate normally
Mm.
when there's something to update you on or something. But yeah,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
we're definitely big communicators.
Well, ours is the other side of the we're on the same side as your husband.
Yeah, yeah, fair enough. And you know what? That's probably even more normal. Um, so, anyways,
Yeah.
but
All
okay, and I
right.
guess that moves us to the red thread section of the podcast. So, uh,
Ye-
that all of these little stories that we're going to be sharing have something in common, and I suppose that common theme is living between places.
Yes. Um, I would also consider the bush a very bright part of our red thread.
Yes, that is very true.
Yeah. Because I mean we both connect over Luangwa quite a lot. It's our place where we meet up most of the time. It's also big moment where you got married and
Oh yeah, we'll have a fun episode on that.
yes,
Planning an episode in the
yes, we
sorry
will.
episode, planning a bush wedding.
Yes. Oh, so iconic. All right. So, Cheska, how do you think living in Zambia versus Germany has changed your perspective?
So I would say it's really taught me that the grass is always greener somewhere else. So when I first moved to Germany, it was very easy to miss home. It was, I missed the smell of the rain on the dry soil and, the sounds of the birds. Like, you don't hear any birds here in wintertime, obviously, because your windows are closed, but also the birds are not out and about singing because it's so bloody cold. Um, and yeah, so when I'm in Germany, I miss those things about home. But then when I'm back home in Zambia, sometimes I do miss the convenience of being in Germany. So, we don't get any power cuts here. It's easy to get to the grocery store. We literally live above the supermarket. Um, and, not having to drive 2 hours and to literally cross a border just to go shopping is something that, yeah, I don't want to take that for granted here. And it is definitely an aspect of life in Germany that I miss when I'm back home. And yes, living between the two has taught me to appreciate what each place offers. So instead of constantly wishing I was somewhere else, it's teaching me how to just appreciate the good parts of where I'm at. And not to constantly think that the grass is always greener, because it is always greener, but
Yeah.
um, it does help to uh, improve my perspective on that. And then, sorry, that was such a long-winded answer, but I also have a question for you now. Um,
Hmm.
Annalise, I forgot to ask you a question earlier on. Um, and I think it's an important question because it will also give our listeners some context about what we're going to talk about and what the podcast is going to be about. And it is, if someone presses play without knowing us at all, what do you hope that they'll feel straight away?
I want them to feel calm. I want them to feel like they have known us for a while and that they are a part of this. I want them to think, okay, this is real. This is messy, hilarious, and I'm learning a lot of stuff about this place that I actually didn't know much about. Um, I want them to feel
Mm-hmm.
welcomed, entertained, and curious, and ready for some chaos. You know, I want it to be a happy place for people to come to when they've got, some time or, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I like that. Something that people can just listen to when they're going about
Yeah,
their normal day,
exactly.
like they're part of a conversation.
Yes. I want them to feel like they're sitting at sundowners and having a drink and
Yeah,
listening to us two girls chit chat and still also feel a part of it.
yeah. No, I'm also hoping for the same.
Yeah. All right. Um,
Okay, so
what does it feel like living between two places?
so one thing that living between two places has definitely taught me, or um, has definitely changed my perspective, is that the grass is always greener. So when I'm in Germany, it's so easy to miss home. You know, I miss the rain, I miss the smell that comes with it, I miss the sounds of the birds singing outside. Because, here when it's winter time, our windows are shut a lot. But then also when we open the windows to let some air in, you don't hear the birds like you do when you're back home because obviously it's just too cold. Um, and the birds are not going to be out and about singing. But then when I'm back in Zambia, I do miss the conveniences of Germany, So the
Hmm.
fact that we don't get power cuts here, the easy access to the supermarkets, like we literally live, like literally just on the roof of a supermarket. Um, and, you know, when I'm in Zambia, I don't miss not having to drive 2 hours and cross a literal border just to go shopping. So,
Yeah.
yeah, living between the two places has definitely taught me to appreciate what each place offers instead of constantly wishing that I was somewhere else and, um, feeling that the grass is always greener.
100%.
So,
Yeah.
sorry?
I said 100%.
100%. Yeah. And that leads me to my question for you.
Hmm.
Um, okay, so Annalise, now we've gotten to the last bit of the podcast, and um, I thought that, like, well, we thought that it would be smart to end it with um, looking ahead. So, what can listeners expect? And the question that I have for you is there a story that you already know you want to share at some point in the podcast, just not yet, and that you're excited to share?
I'm definitely excited to talk about what it is to be studying here versus studying in Germany. I think that's going to be a
Uh
very
huh.
fun contrast for our listeners. And I
That
also
is true.
think a lot of our episodes are very exciting that are coming up. Like the one where animals don't knock. That's going to be a funny one, I think. I think that's going to entertain a lot of people. And a lot of people from here, yeah, I think a lot of people from here are going to relate to it a lot because they don't. And
Yeah.
yeah, some days it's great, some days not so much.
Yep,
Yeah.
that makes a lot of sense.
All right. What kind of stories are you most excited to share in the future?
Definitely the bush stories. So, like the animal encounters, and all the things that I miss about being home when I'm in Germany. Um, and so, I guess that's mostly, it'll be really interesting to hear what's going on in your life, for you to keep us updated with all of the exciting things happening. Um,
Mm.
but you know what? I'm also very excited to talk about, like, uh, the deep things. We're going to have some serious episodes where we talk about uh, grief, like I mentioned previously, and just things that make life life. And
Yeah.
I'm also excited to get into that. I think for me, I'm somebody that uh, I really feel like it helps me a lot to talk through things and to talk about stuff. I'm somebody that wears her heart on her sleeve. So um, I'm excited to talk about that with you. And I just hope that there will be some listeners who can relate or just feel better and less alone, I suppose, when they listen
Yeah.
to us.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah. And then another question I had is there something that you're already saving for a future episode?
Hmm. I think there's a few really funny stories that I'm really looking forward to, and that would be the injuries podcast, the injuries episode.
Okay, yes.
I'm looking forward to having your husband on here talking about his really, really close call that it could have ended really badly. Fortunately, it didn't. But
Uh-huh,
I think
uh-huh.
that's going to be very, very entertaining to have him on here as well, talking about his terrible injury that he got from a tree.
Oh my goodness.
Yes.
Yes, yes, I am very excited for that one too. I can only echo you there.
Ah, yes.
Okay,
All right, Cheska. I think I've got one last question for you, and then I am ready to wrap things up.
I think that sounds good.
All right. What do you hope listeners take with them after listening?
Genuinely just a good time. I just want people to feel easy and uh and happy. Yeah, that's genuinely all I want. I just want people to enjoy our podcast. So, yeah, I'm gonna, you know what, just to wrap it up, what do you hope people take after listening to us yap for uh 49 minutes? Less?
Yes. Well, I hope that they take a little bit of Zambia back with them, wherever they end up.
Oh, I like that.
Wherever you're listening from, I hope that you have just this little bit of Zambia following you wherever you go in your pocket, in Spotify, in Apple Play. So wherever you are, there's a little bit of home for those of you who are from here. And if your story was shaped by the bush, I hope that this helps you feeling at home. And if you are looking to be shaped by the bush, well then tune in hopefully next week again. Thanks for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed it.
And we'll see you next time.